Hi, my name is Marc Crawley and welcome to Diversity Connect. Today we're going to do a bit of an update video really on staffing agencies or recruitment agencies that help neurodivergent job seekers. So we did a webinar on this, I think it was late 2025, and this is a 2026 update. So this information is relevant as of around the middle of July in 2026. So welcome to everyone who's watching this on Diversity Connect or on YouTube or listening on Spotify. And yeah, it's sort of going through and letting you know a little bit more about the agencies that we see that are reasonably active. And however, I think that it's good to give some context really. So in the UK in particular, and this is going to be UK focused if that's okay for today, there's around 30,000 recruitment agencies, so a huge number, but there's very few that focus solely on neurodiversity. There are more and more recruitment agencies that are focusing about being neuro-inclusive, and we touched on this previously. So you look at people, the big ones like Hayes and Michael Page, seem to be on the surface doing quite a lot of work around this. There's also some bigger organisations that have dedicated hiring programs, companies like DXC, EY, companies like Auticon, all tend to have a bit of a focus. And then you see some ring-fenced programs in organisations like Microsoft and SAP and JP Morgan. But there are also some consultancies that specialise in neuro-inclusion and hiring neurodivergent candidates. We've got a company called CubeLinks, which is based in London. You've got Auticon. There's a European organisation called, I think it's pronouncing right, is Special Sterni or Speciali Sterni. I'll pop something in the chat afterwards with a link because I always get the name wrong. But ultimately, you can see there's a little bit more focus on this. Not as much as we'd like, but it is starting to move forward, which is good to see. So we're going to go through a few of the agencies that I see that are reasonably visible. And when I say reasonably visible, if you literally Google or in your search engine, neurodiversity recruitment agency, these tend to be the organisations that come up. So we're just going to take a 2026 look at these organisations now. So the ones that we can see are Shining People, Brilliant Minds, Neuropol, Radical Recruit, ENA, Exceptional Individuals, and us to a degree, right, Diversity, but we'll go through that a little bit more in a second. So Shining People are an interesting one because I met a guy called Kevin, and again, I'll probably get the names wrong, so apologies, in Sulaco. Now, I met him probably late 2022, maybe 2023, and he was setting up with his, I think it was his girlfriend at the time, Shining People, essentially to be a recruitment agency for neurodivergent job seekers. So as of now, they are the website's still live. They seem to be slightly active on LinkedIn, but not as much as we'd like to see. Kevin and I think his girlfriend are based in Belgium, so they do tend to have a European bias, and they both have other jobs alongside this. So it'd be interesting to see how active they are. What they do have on their website is a clear candidate process and an offer of personal service. So I like to say with any of these things, it's worth a try, right? So I would probably pop on their website, have a look, see if it's for you, and maybe just see where it goes. But they do at the moment have quite a limited social media presence. As there is no cost, which is good, like a lot of the organisations here. But as I say, I think the biggest challenge with Shining People at the moment is I'm pretty good at research and trying to get some signs of life and seeing what organisations are doing. I'm not 100% sure they're still active, but listen, check them out and see what you think, because I really like Kevin and when I met him, so I think they're well-meaning. It just might be that this is something they're doing on the side alongside other jobs, which is understandable, but yeah, be good to see. Another organisation which is relatively new for the 2026 this 2026 presentation is someone called Brilliant Minds. So they had a bit of a launch in late 2025. And what they are at the moment is a very tech-focused network that are building and sort of neurodivergent tech talent. The one thing I will say, and I suppose it's like anything which is quite well-meaning and building, is it seems to be at the moment more of a almost like a networking site or an opportunity to collaborate and meet other neurodivergent technologists. It's not actually that clear what they do. It might be a wider plan that they have to build talent, then obviously build relationships with organizations and move forward. But as I say, very, very new. Of course, there's no cost, which is good to see. And it seems to be 3 fathers of autistic children, the most prominent being a guy called Gary Lederman. So have a look at them and see what you think. They've got a sort of okay-ish LinkedIn presence. As I say, very new. But listen, I'd love your feedback if you've heard of Brilliant Minds or you've engaged with them, or when you go on the website, you can see clearly what they do, because I'd love to see. Not 100% sure they're a recruitment agency, but it would be, it'd be good to see sort of how they progress, because obviously the more organisations that focus on this, the better. So another one, so this is a bit of an update really on Neuropol. So Neuropol is probably the most prominent neurodiversity recruitment agency, certainly that I see in the UK, owned by a guy called Jack Darage. The thing about Neuropol is it's very, very clear about what they do, right? They are essentially an organisation that focus on building a network or a pool of neurodivergent job seekers, and then building relationships with organisations, exactly what a recruitment agency does. Now, what I will say, and it's still the case now, is they do paint a very, very positive picture regarding job offer chances. So it'd be good, again, I'd love to see someone who's gone through the process with them and had a positive experience. I really would. Because again, well-meaning, they're well-backed. They had some investment relatively recently into them. So it'd be good to see what they do. Again, of course, that they do have a job board and roles. I couldn't see that because I haven't got an account with them. So it may be, again, an opportunity for a network to build an account and see where it goes with those. So again, Neuropol pretty prominent. So it might be worth checking them out, or at least following them on LinkedIn and seeing what they have available. Another organisation which, on the surface, I've got a bit of a soft spot for, are Radical Recruit, UK-based, and co-founder is very prominent on LinkedIn, is Emma Freivogel. I will say that Emma's posts can sometimes be, I wouldn't say excessive is the right word, but maybe they're quite forthright, but I think what I like about Emma, she definitely tries to advocate for her community, which is good. So it's very simple to get in touch with a query. And as of last year, they wasn't actually, when we did this webinar before, they wasn't taking on new candidates, but they seem to be at the moment, right? So definitely worth getting in touch. They're not solely focused on neurodiversity. They do tend to try to help individuals who are disadvantaged in their job search for a variety of reasons, including people who've been in the in prison previously and physical disabilities, etc. as well. There's also quite a nice journey for employers to engage with Radical Recruit. But as I say, they are very practical from what I see from their approach. Their role is to try to get you a job, right? And Emma in particular uses various creative ways to try and do that, which I quite like, which is good to see. So again, give those a go and see where they go. But they're very active still at the moment. So again, would be worth checking out. The other organisation, which again is reasonably prominent and again has had a little bit of investment as relatively recently, is ENA Global. So they were called ENA previously, then they've gone global, which is good to see. Now, when you look at ENA, I've got to be honest, and this is I'm sure people might say this about diversity as well. It's sometimes a little bit confusing about what they do. So they are predominantly a job board. and that tends to be almost like a fulcrum into other services. So what they do for candidates is never 100% clear, but again, you can register as a job seeker on there. What they offer outside of that would be interesting to see. I think I'm talking to a couple of job seekers next week. They're engaged with Enna at the moment, so I might get a bit of an update for you. But I think like us as well, they do a lot of things for employers, very focused on the consultancy work, etc. They are solely neurodiversity focused, which is great. And I've met Emily, and Emily's fantastic. And obviously advocates for a community and is really key in trying to drive this forward. And the one thing I will say is that when I went on the website, there were no current jobs, and they've got quite, talking honestly, they've got quite a strange way their job board is laid out. What you have is pretty much every job, whether it's live or not. I suppose you could argue it's there to try and show some volume, but there's jobs that are over a year old, and even the most recent is over a month old and no longer taking applications. So I think it's quite an interesting, it needs maybe a bit of an update, because again, if I think of neurodiversity job boards, Enna were one of the ones that were the most prominent early on. There is another site, which I'm not going to cover today, called Neurodiversity Jobs. Again, it's just an organization buying up a lot of different domain names and just putting a lot of different jobs on there. There's very, very little sign of any type of neuro-inclusivity in there. So we won't talk too much about them today. But Enna, from a candidate perspective and a recruitment agency perspective, do offer some level of service and support for job seekers. It's not immediate, obviously, what it is, but give them a go. Okay, so the next one we have is exceptional individuals, very active and very active charity, and been going for quite a while, owned by a guy called Matt Boyd. And again, on the face of it, there's a lot here, right? You can register your CVs. They do things like career training and work support. They've got a job board, a lot of resources for job seekers, solely ND focused. So again, give them a go, right? I do find their website a little bit difficult to navigate sometimes, and just trying to get to the information that I'm looking to do, because I think a lot of people going on there just thinking, like, how do I register my CV? How do I get a conversation? How do I get some support? And it's not always as easy as it should be. So again, but exceptional individuals, as of 2026, still very active. So so give them a go as well. Then there's us, to a degree. What I would say is we are not a recruitment agency as such. I think it's pretty well known that we started out like that back in 2022, but we've sort of I suppose amended the way that we engage and support our community based on a lot of factors. But what we do now is hopefully quite clear, and we've learned a lot over the last few years. So we have a community platform which is free, Diversity Connect, which we're very, very proud of, and webinars like this are on there, and a few other resources that we have. We also have monthly meetups on that platform, which we're again very, very proud of, and we have a very new job board, and our job board is there to be what we call client driven and organization driven. So organizations that are neuro-inclusive or show good proof, or have done some good work around neuro-inclusivity, will be able to build a page on our job board, and then all of their jobs are visible on their career sites. So you won't have the challenges that you maybe see on the Enna board, where you have out-of-date jobs or anything like that, and everything goes straight through to their career site. But in this instance, it's more about, okay, should I disclose this company? And us trying to give you that reassurance that we believe that this company's shown enough indications that disclosure you should have a positive experience in this instance. So check out the job board on our website and see what you think. I'd love some feedback on it as well. But of course, that we're very focused on helping advise ND job seekers and organisations, and of course we are also solely neurodiversity focused. So again, we are, just to be clear, we're not a recruitment agency, but we are always trying to provide support, resources, and advice for the ND community at every turn. So if you would like to contact us for anything at all, or just have any opinions on any of this, please, obviously, if you're on Diversity Connect, you can make comments underneath the webinars, etc. Of course, if you watch it on YouTube, you can do the same, and Spotify. But there's our contact details there on the screen if you've got any questions or anything like that. There's a couple of numbers there you can call, and we'll make sure that we pick up your call and see if we can offer any advice at all. So thank you very much for watching or listening today. We hope this has been useful. I think what we'll do is we'll continue to try to keep you updated with any changes in these recruitment agencies, or if we see someone who looks particularly fantastic, who's doing some great work, and we'll go from there. But thank you so much for today. Really appreciate it for your support in listening or watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks very much.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and scan the QR code to join the Diversity Connect community.